Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen-Botham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, Andrew Bartolotta.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, where we bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good in our community and around the globe. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta, and today we are excited to have Kenny Alonzo, Executive Director of Rocketown, join us to discuss this unique nonprofit that's changing lives in downtown Nashville. Founded by contemporary Christian music artist Michael W. Smith, Rocketown is a haven for teens, offering entertainment, after-school programs, and a supportive environment to foster purpose and faith. Kenny, thank you for being here to share more about Rocketown's incredible journey and its impact on youth.
Absolutely. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Can you first start by sharing the story behind the founding by Michael W. Smith and its evolution into the vibrant youth center it is today?
Right. So originally, Michael was actually driving through downtown Franklin. This was several years ago. It was during the 90s. And there were a bunch of kids running around, and he just thought to himself, man, I've got to do something to get these kids off the street and get them active and doing something more productive. And so he developed a concept for a dance club in Cool Springs. And it's interesting because all of the experts said there's no way it won't make it. The population won't fill, they won't be able to sustain this model and it won't work. And the first weekend we had over 250 kids show up. And so it was very successful for quite a while, but unfortunately we lost our lease and had to look for a new location. And Rocketown went dormant for several years. We were doing some outreach in downtown Nashville until we found a location and ended up building downtown.
Very cool. And now 30 years later, here you are still alive and kicking, and you pride yourself on being a place where teens can have fun, make friends, but also launch lives of purpose and faith. Can you elaborate on how the center fosters this environment?
Right. So we've got, we consider ourselves an event-based ministry where we do a lot of different events. So we do concerts, we do showcases, we have a skate park, a concert venue, coffee bar, recording studio, esports, gaming room. And so we've got a lot of different things to attract kids. And when they get here, we just really develop relationships with them and get to know them. And, the original goal was to go after kids that weren't involved with a lot of extracurricular activities. They weren't on sports teams or in band, things like that. And so we really focus on kids that don't have a whole lot going on after school. They come here and hang out. We get to know them and just kind of walk through life with them. We have a very talented staff here, a lot of 20-somethings that work with our kids that hopefully can inspire them to raise the bar in their own lives.
Well, you have such an array of different activities and opportunities for youth to really get into and develop their sense of self, gifts, passion, and critical thinking. Talk about how, as a Christian organization, you are creating an open and welcoming environment for all teens and the ways that they can express themselves.
Right. And that's, it's funny because when you talk about a Christian organization, immediately a lot of people think, oh no, they're, restrictive in what they do or what they allow. And it's just different. But, we firmly believe that Jesus was someone who hung out with everyone, right? He wasn't, I don't know, he wouldn't kick someone out of his church. He was inviting to everyone, loving and caring. And so it's important for us to feel that the kids feel accepted here, and we get to spend time with them and really get to know them. And so everyone's welcome here, and we have an opportunity and enough for everyone to get involved in things, enough opportunities for kids to get involved in whatever they want to do. And, we take surveys from the kids and say, what do you guys want? That's one of the ways we got involved with esports. That was a new venture just a few years ago. If you know anything about gaming, it's continuing to grow, and there's tournaments and things like that. And so we went out for a grant. We got some money, built a room with high-end very fast computers for gaming, and we also have Xbox and PS5s, and we have a couple gamers on staff that one was a professional gamer for years. He was actually top 40 in the US in Fortnite, top 70 in the world. And so he's really qualified to work with our kids. And then we got connected with David Lipscomb University's esports team. They were the ones that actually built our computers for us. And so we started doing some gaming tournaments. And it's funny, the first tournament we did became a regional qualifier for nationals. We had over 200 participants. Our second tournament had over 400 participants. And the one coming up here in just a couple months, we're expecting over 500. And we already have a couple of the top players in the world that are going to be playing. So it's pretty exciting. So that's just one aspect. You know, we try and find out what kids are doing and what they want to do, and we make ourselves available.
The esports realm is very fascinating. And so you've got this upcoming esports tournament on July 26th and 7th. What can participants and attendees expect from the event?
It's our third tournament, and it continues to grow. It's Super Smash Brothers Melee is the main game that we're going to be using or be competing in. And that's where we do have the number 1 and number 2 players in the world that have already committed to being here. We're estimating over 500 in attendance. Those are gamers. Now there will be probably another couple hundred that just come to watch. And what's neat, if you've never been to an esports tournament, it's similar to a Comic-Con, I guess you would say, where a lot of the guests will dress up in character and come in, and we'll have food and vendors, and it's a very festive, fun environment. And we encourage gamers, regardless of your skill level, to come check it out, because it really is a lot of fun, and it's something that's continuing to grow. So we're pretty excited about it.
That's super cool. So beyond entertainment and recreational facilities, Rocketown offers after-school programming and concerts as well. How do these activities contribute to the overall mission of Rocketown?
So we have different things every day with our after-school program. So for instance, one thing we learn from the kids is they don't want to go back to class if they've been in school all day. And so we stop calling things classes and programs, and everything is not really, they know what they're getting involved in, but we just say, just changing the terminology actually helped us get more participation. And so what most people call a cooking class, we call a cooking collective. And we do that every Monday, and we allow the kids to join in the cooking. So we don't prepare the meal for them. They prepare the meal together, and then they eat it together. And so we provide meals for kids every single day. And it's something that we're really proud of. And we learned during COVID, when we went virtual with all of our programs, the kids didn't know how to cook. And so we started cooking on Instagram Live. And then when we came back and we're face-to-face with kids, we kept cooking. So one of the meals that they eat during the week is a meal that they prepare themselves. And that's our Monday cooking collective. Tuesday, we've got other activities, and that's, we're not an educational program, but we do have educational resources for kids. If they need tutoring, need homework assistance, we have that. But we really just try and be a fun, safe place for kids to hang out and get support from older adults. And Tuesday, we do a thing called Skate Church, which is sort of like a youth group for skaters. And it's not just for skaters. We invite all the kids to attend. We feed kids pizza on that night. And then Wednesday, in my opinion, that's one of the coolest things that we do. It's an event we call Wisdom and Eats. Our old outreach staff, who's not here anymore, David Jolly, actually started this. And it was created with the idea that you could put kids around the table with diverse backgrounds and diverse theologies and everything, and just get them together, put a subject out there, and they can actually talk about it in a civil manner. And so we literally pick really, really controversial subjects, whatever the hot button issue is. I'm trying to think of one that would be hot right now. The war in Israel, right? Are you pro-Hamas, pro-Israel, pro-whatever, and we throw that out on the table and we get their opinions. And there's only there's a facilitator that's a staff person. There's one rule, and the rule is you have to respect everyone's opinion. You can't make fun of them, and you can't tell them it's stupid. You just have to listen to it. And it's amazing the dialogue that comes out of that table. And the meal for that day it's milk and cereal. And so it's after school. We've got the coolest cereals you can find, stuff that most healthy parents would not want them to eat. It's one day a week. And so they sit down with cereal and milk and have discussion about really controversial topics, which we love because adults could never do it. They'd be at each other's throats, they'd be yelling across the table, and they sit there and have a civil conversation. And I'm serious, it's beautiful to watch. And they don't always leave in agreement. We don't have a consensus on a subject, and we kind of like the fact that when they leave, they still don't agree, but they heard someone else's point of view and they did it in a respectful manner. And we're hoping that will start to instill things in them, so when they do become adults, they're like, you know what, I don't agree with this person, but I can respect their opinion. Thursday is family dinner. So we have programs and things, but we do a dinner where we have it catered. So either volunteers or restaurants will provide a meal, and we come together. We'll have 60 to 100 kids, and we invite their family. Not many parents come, but the ones that do really enjoy it. And so they'll sit down and have a meal. We bring in a speaker. In fact, last week, Alliance Bernstein, one of their vice presidents, who's on our board, Winston Justice, got up and spoke. And this month, all the speakers are African-American for Black History Month. And he's a former NFL player, but in the finance industry with Alliance Bernstein, and was able to just share his story with the kids and really tell them, listen, I've been where you are. I know you looking at me now that I'm well-spoken and I'm educated and all these, but I was just like you. And it wasn't that long ago. And the goal is to try and inspire our kids to raise the bar in their own lives. And so we do that every week, where we bring in an inspirational speaker, and it's become a beautiful time of ministry for us.
Well, all of the programming you're doing is so fantastic. And even if you just did one of them, I would be blown away. But the fact that you're doing all of these on a weekly basis, and you're really making a difference in the lives of so many Nashville and area youth is tremendous. How can the community get involved or support Rocketown's mission to offer hope through Christ's love?
So the easiest way is to go to rocketown.org. And there's a link on there. You can get more information. You can watch some videos about what we do and see more practically exactly what we're talking about right now. And then there's a give button on there, or a get involved button. So you can get involved by saying, hey, I want more information. Maybe I'd like to volunteer, or maybe I'd like to donate a meal, or donate just some money to help pay for some of the expenses that we incur as a ministry. So that's really it. I mean, we do a couple fundraisers a year, and outside of that, we rely on the community to step up and help us, because we're helping give back to the community.
So looking to the future, are there any new programs or expansions planned for Rocketown to further its impact?
So expansion plans, absolutely. We originally, going back to the vision that Michael W. Smith had, was to be in every major city. And the first big fundraiser we had to raise the money to build downtown, the Capitol campaign chair was actually President Bush. And so not too difficult to raise money when the former president's raising money for you. And so we raised the money and paid cash for the building. So we're debt free. And we're looking at other cities, potentially a satellite operation out in Ashland City, which is about 25 minutes outside of the city here. Interesting about Ashland City is it's in Cheatham County, and Cheatham is it's a different environment, because 82% of the people that live there don't work in the county. They work in Davidson or some other county, one of the other surrounding counties. And so there's a lot. So 82% of the families have kids that are at home by themselves after school waiting for parents. And there's a lot of drug use. Actually, Cheatham has the largest per capita number of deaths due to methamphetamines in the entire state of Tennessee. And so as we've discovered some of those things, we're like, man, we've got to get out there. We're doing a citywide, a kind of a worship event in next month. And it's really just to kick off, hey, we're coming to town. We're trying to bring the community together and one event. And then we're going to start a weekly prayer meeting on Zoom. And then we're going to hope to raise some money and actually get a little satellite facility out there so we can continue to serve the kids out there on a regular basis. So that's one. Atlanta is interested in having a Rocketown, and so we've already have a weekly prayer meeting. We're starting this week. Actually, Friday is the first one, and we have a leader who lives in Atlanta who's doing some groundwork for us to start raising some funds to start a Rocketown down in Atlanta. And then we have several other cities that have expressed interest as well. And so we're just getting into an expansion model, and pretty excited about what that looks like going into other cities.
Well, you're 30 years in and you're still just getting started by making the impact. You're making a huge impact, but being able to expand it in different regions and areas is fantastic. And knowing that there is such a need and a demographic that could benefit from Rocketown's programs and services is vital. So hopefully supporters listening will be able to take that and help your organization flourish. What puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that you've been able to do, you and your team, you and the visionary Michael W. Smith, to provide Rocketown to the Nashville metro area for the past 30 years and what's still to come?
So was just the success stories. What's neat is, I guess it's probably about 3 years ago, they were doing a news special on us, and they were filming out here. And I can't remember the reporter's name who was filming, but as we're filming, we're in the coffee bar, in the cafe, and he said, "Hey, do you have any parents who could share, maybe get on tape?" And I looked, and there was a skater who just walked in the building, was going in the skate park. The mom was getting a cup of coffee. And I said, "Well, I don't know this mom, but let's see if she has something to say." And so, because I'd never seen this family before, and I walked up and I said, "Hey, I don't know you. I'm Kenny from Rocketown, the executive director here, and they're actually shooting a little news segment on us, and would love to get your opinion if you have one about Rocketown." And she said, "Well, it's actually the first time we've been here with our son. We live in Murfreesboro. He wanted to skate here, and so I drove down or up to skate for him to skate." And he said, "What's interesting though, I was one of the original Rocketown kids at the dance club in Cool Springs." And I said, "That's crazy." And so he interviewed her, and after the interview, he looks at me and he's like, "That had to be a plan." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "That had to be a plan. You knew, you brought her in here. She was a Rocketown kid. I mean, give me a break." I'm like, "No, I've never met her before. I had no idea she was going to be here. I had no idea she was a Rocketown kid." And he's like, "That's amazing. I love this." So those kind of stories are really cool, because we have a generational thing happening now where, the kids that were hanging out at the first Rocketown in the dance club, or even the early skaters, are bringing their kids who are skaters now, or bringing them to concerts and stuff now. And they're big advocates for what we do in the community, because it affected them personally. And now they're entrusting us with their kids. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool to see that you're making a difference generationally now, and they're able to see Rocketown even in a new light, and new services and new ways that their children can get involved and make an impact there. Where can people once again go to learn more about Rocketown and the incredible work that you're doing to support and uplift the youth of Nashville?
So the best way to get any information is to go to our website, rocketown.org. That's Rocketown with one T in the middle and one word, rocketown.org.
Awesome. Well, Kenny, thank you so much for your dedication to creating a safe, welcoming, and enriching environment for teens in our Nashville area. Thank you for powering the good in our community and coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Andrew. I appreciate it, man.